Hello and welcome back to a Warlock Life with Purple. This is level 2. I made a couple of little notes because I missed a couple of things from the previous episode. I missed showing you the skills. If you are doing the tanky build like me, you'll want to put some points in Intimidate because you will find it useful to drag nearby monsters' attention away from other people and to you. I actually found I did some of the Korthos quests to start with. One of which was the Canis Crystal, and I found that Intimidate came in quite handy in conjunction with the Entangle spell for keeping the cultists away from the crystal and focused on me. So yes, Intimidate if you want to do the tanky build. If not, don't bother with that. If you're going the standard build, focus on Charisma on your level ups instead of Constitution. And in both cases, max Spellcraft. You want 1 point in Tumble. Tumble, if you didn't know, putting at least 1 point in there means you take less fall damage if you don't have Feather Fall on. I've put just 1 point in UMD. Now that's because by the time I get to the cap, I will have enough charisma to have that UMD skill high enough that that I can do any scrolls and things that I would like to. If you're just going to 20 with the build and you want to be able to use nice scrolls as soon as possible, like what would you want to use? Scrolls of Teleport, Raise Dead. Actually, Teleport, the Warlock uses that I think at 100 at no fail from level 7, is it? But Raise Dead, all the sort of divine stuff, Raise Dead, heal, scrolls of heal if you want to do that for yourself. You'll need some UMD. I think no fail on heal scrolls is something like 40, so you'll need to put plenty of points in there. Warlock does get 10 boost to UMD through the leveling process, so that's very nice, something to bear in mind. I haven't yet put any points into concentration. Now if you're planning to use scrolls to heal yourself, then it's a very good idea to put some in there. In fact, it's a very good idea anyway, because you might during the course of battles want to cast like restoration to remove negative levels or ability point damage, that kind of thing. So yeah, concentration's a good idea. What else have we got? I've put a couple into balance. So that's about it for the skills. So if going the tanky build, go Spellcraft and Intimidate, some concentration, maybe a bit of balance, 1 in Tumble, at least 1 in UMD. If not going the tanky build, don't bother with Intimidate. I think that's about the sum of it. Now, Jump, I haven't, it's a nice skill to have. If you didn't know, it caps out at 40, meaning the useful element stops at 40. So if you have like jump 60, only 40 of it counts. The jump spell, which I have taken, by level 9 you're getting plus 30 on jump, so by level 9 you're more or less capped if you have the jump spell, so there's no need to put any points in jump in that case, which is why I have ignored that. If you don't plan to take the jump spell, if you want other things instead, like let's say resist energies and shield, then you could put maybe, I think most put about 10 points in jump, and between all the other buffs like ship buffs and other things, they end up more or less capped. But certainly when you're low level, you do notice having a low jump score, you do notice sometimes you can't sort of get around traps or jump up and grab things that you otherwise would. So it's quite nice to have, especially when you're low down the levels. I don't think I have missed too much of anything else there. No. So that was that. Oh, I wanted to explain the feat I took. I took the Meta Magic feat Quicken. Now, if you don't know what Meta Magic feats are, that's an example of one, obviously. It's a group of feats which affect the spells you cast in various ways. You can make them stronger, doing more damage by taking like Maximize and Empower. The Quicken one is very nice, twofold. First of all, as the name suggests, you cast faster. But a big deal there as well is they can't be interrupted by enemy attacks. When you cast a spell normally, if you get hit and take damage during the spell motion, that spell can be interrupted and do nothing if you fail a concentration check. Which is why it's nice to have concentration when using scrolls, because you can't quicken scroll use. So so you're always subject to a concentration check if you get hit while trying to make a scroll work. So yes, it gets around that that concentration check, and for important stuff like let's say your big heal spells in epic, or maybe a crowd control spell that you absolutely need to go off without interruption, otherwise the monsters are all going to swarm you. To have that kind of stuff quickened is just invaluable. And once we have enough spell points, we'll run with quicken on all of our major spells. That's that. I wanted to be clear on the charisma thing. Charisma is the Warlock's main casting stat, and for every 2 points in charisma, you get more spell points and one more difficulty check on your spells. If you hover over one of your spells that has one of these checks, like our Entangle there, you'll see at the top save 19. So the higher that save number, the harder the monsters are going to find to save against it. And the higher our charisma, the more we can boost that difficulty check to make it more difficult for them to save. So if you are not going for the tanky Warlock, if you're going for the standard build, boost the charisma on level ups instead of constitution, as I'll be doing, and that'll make your spells harder for opponents to resist. That's that. I wanted to mention Reaper points. He started out last life with nothing at all on the Reaper side, and I was really pleased to manage to make 17. In that it was a 1 to 30, and then back to 20 and up to 30 again, but it was more or less just 1 to 30 and a few quests at the cap, because the 20 to 30 was done with a couple of Slayer zones with one of the Bear Party, and the banked Saga rewards from the previous epic life. That's more or less all it was, and a few bits and pieces at the end, so I didn't get any Reaper points. So it was more or less 1 to 30 and some legendary quests at the end, and I got these 17 Reaper points out of it, which, for considering how much I struggled on my main character back in the day to get just 10 points, 17 is lovely. The first big milestone you're shooting for is the 21 for that 4th core in the Grim Barricade, so that's my target for this life. There was the gear to show, isn't there? So the level 2 now there's some what is it? Yeah, I've updated quite a bit of it. It's still got this nice Kenneth crafted fearsome invulnerable robe on. The goggles are quite a popular thing people use. We've got true seeing to be able to spot all the, well, a lot of the secret doors in heroic, and persuasion gives us +3 on charisma skills, which means UMD as well, which is nice to have. So I wear those from 2 until 10. I should have created them for level 1. I don't know why I didn't. I think I assumed that I would always be able to have the XP stones to get to 2, and it's not always the case. I've got a Master's Gift augment in there for a permanent 5% bonus to XP, which is really nice. I did a little video on creating one of those if you're at all interested. Otherwise, we've got some pretty standard stat bonuses. Constitution and Charisma, both very nice for this build. Spell Sight is a bonus to universal spell power, so to all spell power, so that's nice for us because we're dealing in spell power. Intelligence gives us for every 2 points in intelligence we get a 1 bonus to the spellcraft, the universal spell power, so that's a little boost as well. This is a very nice item for low level. Extra spell points there with the wizardry. Spell focus mastery, if you didn't know, gives a bonus, as it says there, to the difficulty class of all spell schools. So Warlock deals in evocation mainly with the blast ability, but once you get to level 10, actually before that, because he has several crowd control spells, there's a web that you can get quite early, which is very effective crowd control, and that's conjuration. And after that you've got the monstrous Evard's Black Tentacles at level 10. That's also conjuration, and that actually does damage as well. So people can and do wear conjuration goggles to boost the chance of that doing damage. Insightful potency there is ridiculously powerful at the level it's coming at. Normally you can't have insightful gear until level 10, so to have this insightful at level 2, if you didn't know, it's an extra bonus added to all spell powers, insightful potency, so that's really strong. Got some crafted, I think a crafted cloak, just dodge and feather fall. That's a random thing that happened to drop for me. The con is useless because it won't stack with the 2 con on there, but 5 false life. Sheltering is always nice, physical and magical boost. The Radiance Law, the Radiance is the light and alignment spell power. Now we can get in our enhancements, and we'll be taking it later on, in this Tainted Scholar tree that we're in, Utter Dark Blast converts the force portion of our blast, the base damage as it's referred to, from force into light. And that's very good because that tallies with some other abilities and things that we've got, about which more in future episodes. But for the moment we don't have that, so our blast is still force. While I'm in here, I might as well update you on the progress here. I've taken 1 point out of Feigned Health. We've gone for a bonus packed dice, so our acid pact does more damage now. Every regularly as you level up, I think it's every other level, you start gaining in base blast dice and pack dice. I'll just look it up so I'm not telling you rubbish. It's on in the Warlock wiki section that I linked in the first video. Yes, I think it's every 3. Is it every 3 or every 4? 1, 2, 3. Every 3 or 4 levels, you gain a base blast damage dice, and the packed damage seems to go up every 3 levels, is it? I think it's every 3 levels it goes up by one dice, and you can obviously boost it in the Tainted Scholar tree. That. Now, the most important thing, and it's kind of at the start of each Warlock life, for me at least, is a rush to get this ability, this chain shape. I wanted to hold on doing the level 2 episode until I'd got this, so I can just show you what a difference it makes. Because up until now, most of us, unless we've been cheating and using hirelings or some kind of melee approach, we've been struggling away with the single target blast and thinking, oh god, loads of enemies, totally outnumbered. And suddenly this thing comes along, it can go round corners, and it literally does what it says on the tin, chains the blast from one target to another. So suddenly you've got something, I mean, it can even hit targets behind you that you haven't seen. You fire on an enemy in front of you, and if there's something happens to be behind you, the blast will deflect onto them as well, and it's full damage on all of them. Just -1 pack damage die when you use this, but it's totally well worth using anyway for the net increase in damage. So we're going to demonstrate that. I think that's that's all I had to say on that. Where were we with the gear? Sheltering, those gloves are the same, the boots are the same. Ah yes, I wanted to talk about these Borderlands caster sticks. If you go into the Borderlands, into the keep, there is a weapon vendor who you can give, let me see if I probably haven't got any on me. They're called arcane ingots. And for just one of those arcane ingots, if you run the Borderlands chain, level 1 chain, you will definitely get at least 1, if not 2 or 3 of those. For each one, you can get one of these caster sticks, and they're really helpful. Obviously, for this build, we're concerned at the moment with acid and force. So corrosion for acid, and if you look on there, we've got corrosion, so a bonus to acid spell power, and also acid law, so a bonus to the critical chance of acid spells. So that's just awesome for us. And on the other side, I crafted this one, but you could just as easily get the same thing from the Borderlands again. So this is our equivalent in force. So we've got impulse for force spell power and kinetic law for force critical chance. So if we look on here now, we have a nice acid and force spell power, and the critical chance for both acid and force stands out quite nicely too. So we're on the right track there. The braces have changed as well. So fortification, if you didn't know, is important. It's your chance to avoid, a bonus to avoid critical hits. So it's desirable to, I think the general rule is up to 100 is very desirable. Once you start going over 100, the returns and the advantages are less. But there are some very nice sapphires you can get. I will be showing those, like augments. I'll be showing those on the gear as we go a bit further in the leveling process. Resistance as well for bonus to save, so that's a very nice defensive item, protecting from the spike damage of critical hits, and a nice little boost to saving throws there. That's about all I have to say on the gear for this level. So we're going to go into this quest, the Butcher's Path, where I know there's a shed load of opponents, and we're going to try and demonstrate the just how well this chain shape works. Now, as a side note, when you've picked it up in your enhancement tree, just like the pact, you have to drag it. Where is it? Oh, well done. Where did I find it? Is it? Oh, it's an enhancement. Sorry, not a feat. Okay, so you have to drag it from there into here and toggle it on. So we have a choice now. We can use our single target thing. If we meet a big boss and we're on our own against it, we'll choose the single target one because that's more damage. We lose a packed damage die, remember, for activating this, but we can hit up to 3 targets at once, round corners and all sorts of cheating stuff. So that's definitely a good one to have. Hopefully we're going to demonstrate just how good here. You watch, I'll get annihilated in the first first 10 seconds.
You have set infamous butcher's path.
What was I going to say?
That has inspired many grim tavern tales.
No, I don't think that's changed at all, has it? No. Oh yes, there's this little thing here I picked up as a reward from a quest chain. Now this is really good for a low level item. +9 alchemical bonus to universal spell power, and it lasts for 3 minutes. So I just click that on and we get a nice little boost. If I can remember to click it, which I'm terrible at so doing. Oh, I know what I was going to say. When you start going in these kobold quests and you come up against these shaman with this electric attack, you've really got to beware, got to keep moving and not try not to get hit. You see how the chain is working wonders there? It's annihilating stuff. Really good. So suddenly we're in the ascendancy here with this thing. You don't want to stay still with these shaman. If you get hit by that electricity, it's just bad news. I've removed curse potions on the hotbar. Oh, I forgot to cast false life. There we go. So we've got a little shield there. We've got some enemies around the corner, so we're going with the crowd control there, which I've completely messed up because it's not stopping anything. Let's try again. But you see, compare the first episode with what's going on here. This chain shape is just so good when you move to it from the single target. You see, it's even going round the corner there, which is nice in certain situations because it means we don't have to expose ourselves to fire from around the corner as long as we can see one of their number. One day I'll target that entanglement properly. Now I don't like staying in this tunnel because you can get blasted by the electric thing from the shaman. As long as you keep moving, you can usually beat them with the targeting. I can tell you from experience, those things are not nice when they hammer you. Ooh. So you'll see sometimes, as we did there, when you shoot something with your blast, it's displaying save. The creatures can save against the packed part of your blast, so they can take half damage from the acid if they make their save. To help have that happen less, you can boost the difficulty of it just like you would a spell, so more charisma will help with that. And also the Warlock Pact, the Warlock Blast is classed as an evocation spell. So if you have anything that boosts evocation, or indeed spell focus mastery, like our little item runic trinket that we're wearing, that will help the blast to land and do more full damage. How are we doing on the time on that one? Let's put that on as well. Let's go for some big boost this time. I'm not quite sure what's coming, but you can see that the entangling thing is pretty effective at this low level. Now I do have 2 levels of cleric, which completely by luck does help this build, because each cleric past life gives you +1 on your conjuration difficulty check. And conjuration, is that conjuration? No, that's transmutation, so I'm talking rubbish. I was thinking of the web spell, which is coming soon to a warlock near you. And also the signature spell of the Warlock, the Evard's Black Tentacles, is a conjuration too. And I'm sure you will see plenty of that before this life is finished. That's kind of like the Warlock win button, at least in heroic leveling. Can't tell you how strong that is, it's just a massive area of effect. It's like a hold, a damage dealing thing. The damage it does in heroic is very significant. See there, the blast went behind me to that shaman that I couldn't even see. I'm trying to keep the false health up. Now you can see as well, there's a display, a quest objective in the top right hand corner. I need 6 more to be able to finish out and complete the quest. 2 more now. And you guys are it. Don't kill me. Thank you. Just got the witch doctor around this corner here. Hopefully he'll be not killing us today.
No easy feat.
Okay, good stuff. Not bad at all. So I think you could see there just how much more effective and how much easier things are once you get that that chain shape towards the back end of level 2. Things really start taking off. And if you can back that up with a couple of caster sticks, as I call them, from the Borderlands, very easy to get and super useful for boosting the spell power of your blasts. The other thing you'll have noticed, there was no skill element whatsoever there. Literally all I did was go in there and hold down the left mouse button and jump around a bit to avoid the shaman. And if Purple can do that, you guys can too. I hope that was of a little bit of use, and thank you very much for looking. See you in the next one. Take care.